I will say Parkin's made some really nice jumps over the year, and he has a really weird, unique vision. Like, you're going to put a jump right.
Yeah, the first time we filmed together, you're like, that's not going to work.
Yeah, I was like betting you money. Like, there's no way that's going to work.
Colter the whole time was like, dude, this is not going to work. I don't know what you're thinking. But
did it work?
Uplifting,
It
positive.
yeah, like flat spin on his little
But I like helped you work on it. I was like, this isn't going to work, but I'll just so I can watch you crash.
Yeah,
Motivation.
turned out.
Hello, everybody. What is going on? I'm Nils Minnick, and this is the Backcountry Podcast, a show aimed at providing insight into the outdoor industry by interviewing people who operate within it. Today, if you're tuning in via video, you can see that we have a new studio, and we have a lot more guests. This is our first group panel discussion with the TGR boys. And without any further ado, we're going to do some introductions before we get into today's conversation. Just to my left.
Yeah, I'm Parkin Costain. Kind of joined Backcountry program here like a year ago, and yeah, it's been a fun ride. We got the whole Backcountry squad that was in the film this year here.
Yeah, I'm Jake Hopfinger, and happy to be here. We got a sick crew. We ski with all these guys this winter, so it was sick.
Yeah, McRae Williams here. Been with Backcountry for a couple of years now, and yeah, loving the program and good to be back in here. A little studio upgrade from last year. But yeah, psyched for fall, getting hyped for winter, and yeah, good to be all reunited here.
Yeah, what's up? I'm Colter Hinchliffe. Kind of same. I've been on Backcountry for a couple years and got to ski with all three of these boys this winter, and we're on a little film tour, traveling around the U.S., showing off the flick. We all just saw it for the first time a couple nights ago, so pretty hyped on what we saw, and we're stoked to do it again this winter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, boys. Yeah, no, I kind of want to get in and like hear about the world premiere because I've never gone to a TGR world premiere in Jackson, but I've seen it on Instagram, and it just almost has this like place of lore in like ski and snowboard premieres. Like, it's not like you guys are just showing up for one like little showing in town. It kind of seems like this entire like town effort and a pretty like involved weekend.
Yeah, it's certainly an event. It's much more than one night. I think we're there for like 4 nights of activities.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, it's crazy. We played golf with the crew.
Yeah.
Like
TGR Tee Off.
Yeah, TGR Tee Off. Yep. It's sick. We play like scramble, and we're all pretty junk at golf, but
Totally.
it's pretty sick.
Yeah,
It's a fun one.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's cool. Yeah, and how was the movie?
Good, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's always, usually going into it blind, which is kind of how I like it. It's fun to have some input into the editing side of things, but it's also hard for the whole production crew to deal with too many chefs in the kitchen. But yeah, it was cool to see it, and yeah, they did a great job as they do every year. But yeah, getting psyched to do it all over again.
Nice, sick. Yeah, and it seems like kind of from like a production standpoint, with like TGR's based out of Jackson. As like skiers, do you guys kind of like slot some time to try and make it out to Jackson through the off season to like see how it's shaping up, or is it sort of different for everyone? Like, are some skiers sort of just like, I filmed, I'm done, or like, is some folks trying to get like super involved? What's it like?
Everyone,
what's it like
I
for
think,
you?
sort of wishes they were involved. So like earlier on in the season, they may throw some ideas around. And
Yeah.
Yeah, Jake and I bounced through the office and got some input in the Jackson seg, but then, like McRae was alluding to, you don't want to have too many chefs in the kitchen. So
Yeah.
I did never get to see the AK segment before it dropped.
Oh,
Really?
True.
Yeah.
That wasn't made when we were down there, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never did see it.
Dang, crazy.
Yeah,
That's
no,
fun.
just to chime in on that, like I always want to be a part of that, getting my input, and I feel like it helps the editors too, because they're great at making it all flow and like look good, but when it comes to kind of trick selection and stuff like that, especially individually, sometimes you're like pretty particular with style and like what shots you want in there and whatnot. But yeah, last year we had kind of a rough go up in BC. Had pretty minimal footage and like not high expectations, and they killed it. And then this year I feel like it was the opposite. Being on the trip in Colorado with Colter, we were just stacked with footage, and I feel like it kind of was a little too much for them to really sift through. So in hindsight, I wish we kind of jumped in there and did a little shot selection. But
Yeah.
I mean, to the average viewer, they don't know a difference. It's more just like our internal.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, don't put that, miss the grab.
Yeah,
there."
they're making a movie that's just, they're trying to appeal to everyone, and we're like core skiers, and if you miss the grab, you don't like the shot. And so,
Everyone sees that now.
But I've been doing this for long enough.
I was
going
gonna
to
say,
I've been
like,
trying to talk McRae off the ledge. Like, dude, it's okay, man. Like, everyone likes to film.
Yeah.
Sick.
But I get
That
it.
was a
Like,
little
from a core
biased.
skier perspective, you want to shine. You want your skiing to shine, and of course it does shine. But this movie needs to appeal to the kids and the parents and the core skiers, and it does, and they do a great job of that. But when you're looking at it strictly from the eyes of your own personal skiing, you always want a little more out of it.
For sure.
I know, totally, yeah. You're always like your own worst critic, you know? Or, especially in hindsight, you're trying to think like, oh, man, I could have gone bigger. Like, oh, I should have just like tried a different trick instead
and
of
a lot
like
of times
blowing
in-
out the landing with something else.
A lot of times in the field too, you're like, I got to do that again. I like can do that better, and you do it like 5 more times, and the last one you finally get it. But maybe you land in a bombed out landing, and it doesn't look as clean as that. It's not
Or
as
like-
appealing to the audience as when you miss the grab and land in the powder.
Totally,
So,
yeah.
what
Yeah,
are they
the-
going to use?
So true.
Yeah.
Light changes or something like that. Yeah, no, it's wild how much like effort and sort of nuance goes into especially filming like a full length project. Like, and I mean, Colter, are you the like longest TGR member in this group
Must
right
be.
by
By a
like
lot.
how
Right. A lot.
yeah, by a mile?
movies have
Yeah,
you
like
been
how
in?
long? Because you've been
a
at it
TGR
for
vet.
a while now.
Over
Yeah.
a decade, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly when the first year was, but I like stuck my foot in the door. I was up in Alaska, like not quite. I wasn't a Grom, but I was a young man, and I was just up in Alaska scratching around trying to get in helicopters. And TGR was in town, and Ben Chetler got hurt, and some people were like chiming the TGR guys, "You got to let Colter go. He's sick." And like, yeah, whatever. And then Ben Chetler got hurt, and they're like, "You can come with us. We'll film you, but we're not going to use any of the footage for the film." And I'm like, "That's fine. Do whatever." And
Yeah.
I got in the helicopter, and sure enough, the footage went in the film, and that was, I bet you that was like 2011 or 2012. So yeah, it's been like a little over a decade at this point.
What film was that?
Yeah.
Dream Factory. It was the movie
that
all
was a
about
sick
Alaska because it was like a really poor winter down here, but it was going off up there. So every segment was from Alaska, and I was in Haines, which is like one of the most legendary places in Alaska, and they didn't come away with a lot of footage from there. They did like 2 or 3 trips, but just kept missing. And I
Typical
was there for
Alaska.
longer than them, and I was stacked with some POV footage and some other like kind of low quality but high action footage that they ended up like needing because they were short on action there. So that's how I got lucky, and I feel like that's what it always is. People ask me like, "How do you get into this?" I'm like, I tried really hard, like worked really hard, was super dedicated to it, and got lucky. You know?
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, dude, it's like, yeah, you say you got lucky, but it was also still, you went all the way up to Haines, Alaska, on like your own effort, your own dime, your own like.
Yeah,
what-
we make our own luck
like,
in this.
yeah, I
world.
guess that's luck, but that's also some like motive and drive and tact to at least be like, contextually for anyone listening or watching, like Haines is kind of this like pinnacle place for a lot of us that want to do like big mountain skiing and snowboarding and like backcountry freestyle stuff, and like there's always a lot of action, and there's a bunch of I could imagine even in the last 10 years there's like a lot of popularity and balancing of logistics and resources being like guides and helicopters and good snow. So like to have it's what I'm trying to say is that it's intimidating, and then to kind of have the tact and what you did and what I've seen other athletes do as well is you just go up there and like get involved in the mix and the chaos, and like all of a sudden you're filming for TGR. Pretty crazy.
You have to be present to win, is what they always say.
Sure do. Remember our lucky strike, TGR? Or at least for me. You've been in it.
To AK.
Yeah.
No, so kind of the same as Colter. It was COVID year, and I think like, remember when everything got shut down in March pretty much?
I don't recall, but keep going.
So yeah, COVID year, everything's just like shut down. Come March, there's like, as you know, film season's like huge March, April. So all these TGR trips just get like shut down. And Parkin and I were filming like an independent project, and we were sitting on like a pretty good stack of footage, and TGR hits us up. They're like, "Hey, do you have like enough footage for a Segi in the movie?" And we're like, "Well,
Was that your
yeah."
first show in TGR?
Yeah.
I forgot that
Yeah,
was how
that was my
happened.
lucky strike
I
for
didn't know
sure.
that.
So they hit us up, and we had like a pretty good stack, and we like kind of made a deal with them and gave them a ton of footage, and they're like, all right, you're in, sick. And then it kind of
Crazy.
worked from there.
A bit of luck.
That's a big lucky
Yeah.
strike.
bit
Yeah.
of luck, yeah.
But it works out perfect.
That's
Yeah.
cool. Thanks. So Jake, you and Parkin, have you two known each other and like filmed each other for
Yeah.
quite a while?
Bunch of years now.
Prior
Yeah.
to, I guess, the COVID winter then?
Yeah, we both linked up in Bozeman. He was working on like like a really sick film project where they had been making like multiple episodes throughout the season.
Cool.
Was that 2018?
17, 18.
17?
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and they were on like their last episode of the season, and I had like seen this crew floating around Bozeman, and this was right after I had gotten 1 year in with TGR, and then Jake was flown through this zone that I was definitely interested in filming in as well. So we linked up for the last episode that they were working on that season. Yeah.
With that crazy jump.
I don't know what we had like
Oh,
we had
really?
like young Grom energy. We were both trying triple backflips off this like 40-foot cliff to flat.
So
Naturally.
ridiculous.
Naturally.
Yeah.
We got so
Young
broke.
knee energy.
Yeah. Yeah. And
That was so dumb.
that was
That was actually a
ridiculous.
sick jump, though.
It was like a little
That thing
train
was
park.
cool.
There was this
Okay.
like tiny
Yeah.
little zone really close to Big Sky, and like really creative terrain with like little slab rides and like funky like hip features that
Yeah.
I built 3 separate lips to kind of like one prominent landing.
Perfect.
And then we just had like a multiple day session. Which
Yeah,
was
you
super
want to
fun.
combine as many landings as possible.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
totally what you want to do.
Put them all.
Maybe not
together.
one lip, 3 different landings. But
yeah, funnel it all into like one bombed out landing. That's a great way to go.
That was
Yeah.
sick.
But
Dang,
so that was how we
yeah.
linked up, and then a couple of years after that, we were working on these short projects with this crew called Benchy Creative, and
okay.
we made Dollar Short, which was sort of a fan favorite, and then the year after that did Mixtape, and that was
Yeah.
sort of all when Jake got the opportunity to then jump into the TGR film, and I continued working with him. So
Yeah. Oh,
kinda went
cool.
from there.
And did you two like? Because you guys like, did you start out kind of like competitive park skiing, or
I grew up
did you
ski
like
racing.
ski racing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Out
Totally.
ski racing.
Yeah,
So
no
it's-
way.
And I ski raced for like a while until I was 19 in college.
Oh no way.
Yeah. I did 1 year like Division 1 ski racing in college, and then I kind of got my ass kicked by the East Coast ski
Oh,
racers
no.
because it's a
Where were you racing?
hardcore circuit. It's in Central New Hampshire, it's a school called Colby Sawyer College.
Okay.
So I was skiing with like the Dartmouth and like all the
Yeah.
sick ski race kids, and they're fast. Like a lot
Yeah.
of them are like Olympians that were like Norwegian that got a full ride to go to Dartmouth or Cornell or
That's
wherever. They're
insane.
like sick schools. They were like sick ski racers. Mm-hmm. I got my ass kicked, and I was like, I'm out of here.
Moved to Montana.
I moved
I'm
to
in
Bozeman.
Montana. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go ski
Yeah,
pal.
and then I didn't finish school. I got distracted, but I'm happy with the move.
yeah, just a quick hiatus.
Yeah, quick hiatus. I'll be back to
Happens.
ski racing probably next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Exactly.
still pursue that.
No, I'm going into the old man circuit.
Yeah.
Ski racing for sure.
Are you actually gonna?
I want to.
You could do. Wasn't that didn't
I want to
you-
wear a speed suit at some point. I
You
haven't.
got it.
It'd be fun to freaking just point it down.
Yeah.
the
That'd be sick. Wasn't didn't like you and Olsen transition back into ski racing and
He
start doing
did
like,
for a little bit, yeah.
Yeah,
He went
right?
through a
And you made the
racing
World
phase,
Cup.
but
You made the highest level of ski racing.
I
in
think
like
he was
a
trying to
year.
go to the Olympics.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just. I remember going to one of his events, JOI, out in Aura,
yeah.
Sweden.
Oh, did you
and
go to that?
I did one, and they
Sick.
had
That looked
the
awesome.
classic Big Air. It was when they went back to JOI. They did Joss, Unolson Super Sessions
yeah.
for a while there, which was like a big video kind of contest deal. But yeah, it was just a classic Big Air. But they had a ski race too, so it was like Ted Liggety was out there.
Whoa.
They had the race course right next to the Big Air jump, and Yoon was like doing both. But yeah, that was pretty cool.
that's
That's
crazy.
wild.
And
Dang,
you guys
you
are
were
good
there.
athlete.
I was there for that one. Yeah, I'd won like a video contest that he had put on to like have like maybe 1 or 2 more athletes join the roster. But yeah, it was pretty sick, and I was already over in Europe, so it worked out super well.
Sick.
But talk about a crazy weekend. I mean,
I bet.
yeah,
Oh, I bet it's a big party scene.
yeah, times 10 from this weekend. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I actually heard
They
stories.
know how to
It
party.
seems crazy.
Yeah. I've
But
heard that was
yeah,
good.
yeah, I ended up. I remember I actually came to in Norway on my way home without my cell phone, no cell phone. Didn't know if my bags were even. I didn't have my bags. I was in the airport, so
Yeah.
get to Detroit and my bags show up, and I'm an organized person.
Yeah. Okay.
Open them up, it's just shit stuffed in there.
Came to.
Yeah. That's good.
That's
Good
typical,
foreshadowing.
like, I mean, most of the stories from Sweden need to, probably stay under wraps. But
Oh my god.
X Files. That's.
Kind of an X-Files.
it's heavy. Yeah, but no, it
Dang.
was a fun event.
How'd you do in the comp?
I actually, I think I hurt my knee there. yeah, it was crazy because you literally
a big
every
jump.
night is a party there, and
Yeah.
you're going till like 4 or 5 in the morning. But the event is at night. It's a big area like lit up. So you basically sleep all day, wake up just like spinning, try to go up there and hit the big air jump. And somehow, I mean, I was young, so I could like hang back then. I don't know if I could do it these days.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I was gonna say, because that
yeah.
was, you were still like full-fledged park skiing back then.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, like slope style comp circuit for years, and I was over there competing. I think it was.
And what year was this around when you went to the Olympics then, or was that? You were in the Olympics, right?
Yeah, that was 2018. So kind of the end of my run. I ended up hanging up the jersey 2019. I had won world champs in 2017, and if you win, you get an automatic in for the next year, which it's every other year. And
Yeah.
it was here in Park City.
Okay, yeah.
So it was kind of a big deal for me, and I'm like, I'm just gonna get through that, and then I'll be good. But
Yeah.
I was 29 at the time. And that's like ancient in the slope style world. So
Yeah.
it came time to transition to the soft snow, save the body, and I gave TGR a call and started working my way in there, and here
Sick.
we are.
Were you kind of filming backcountry when you were still like slope style skiing, or were you
Little
really
bit.
like pretty full on with the slope skiing?
No, I was trying to mix it up a little bit. A lot of the times it would be just because it was such a full schedule throughout the season competing. I'd try to get a pow trip or two in there, but most of the time it'd be like spring park shoots. I did those with Level 1 for a handful of years.
Okay, yeah.
And then for their last movie, filmed a pretty big backcountry part that was actually mostly here in Utah. Just a bunch of backcountry booters with Colby Stevenson and
Cool.
buddy of mine, John Brown, kind of mixed his way in there,
Yeah.
helping us out, building wedges and stuff. But ended up being a really sick segment, probably one of my favorite to date of that I've been involved in. But yeah, Level 1 kind of bad timing, kind of stopped doing their annual film right as I decided to hang up the jersey and retire from competing, and wanted to do full-time film. And I'd been like working my way in with them for years, and that kind of was like I said, bad timing, because I'm like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
And that kind of led into looking for a new home in the film world, and always been a big fan of TGR, and we're pretty much neighbors with them right up the road in Jackson. So I started kind of hitting them up. They actually, kind of like you guys, not for their movie, but we made a little passion project called Must Be Nice. It's another one of my favorite things I've kind of been a part of to date. But it
That
was
was Spriggs, right?
what's that?
Spriggs.
Yeah, John Spriggs, and just kind of his buddy Ed Clem, one-man show, film and editing the whole thing, zero budget, but just had a good time doing it, And it's funny, these like big TGR movies or those little passion projects that you don't feel like you're doing. The whole season I was like, all right, now I got to do something for real. This is just kind of like having fun with my friends in the backcountry, but that's actually when you get the best stuff. So as far as like shots, it was some of the best stuff I've been a part of to date.
Sick.
For sure. But ended up they just like hosted it for us.
Yeah.
So you can check it out. Must Be Nice. Sick film.
Good film.
But,
I love that film.
Yeah, and that was great because it ended up getting some eyes just because TGR hosted it, and we'd been talking to them a while, and they're like, yeah, we'll see. Our schedule's all over the place. We're not sure if it'll line up, and like day before we're gonna release it, we don't have any plan. And I had a call with JK about other things, and he's like, how's that film coming along? I'm like, oh, we're releasing it tomorrow, and he's like, oh, actually that might be good timing. So it ended up all working out, but
Cool.
Yeah, again, got lucky there. All of our luck stories.
Lucky strike.
Yeah, totally, right? I know it's kind of
Yeah.
sweet to hear like everyone's like roundabout journey into the film crew, right? And it just always, there's not like one. Filming's interesting, right? Because unlike a contest circuit or like a race circuit where it's like, oh, I went faster and now I advanced, or like I did the bigger trick and
Get
now
the
I
results and you
advanced.
move
Yeah,
on,
like
yeah.
there's so much kind of nuance and like luck that takes place in finding your kind of almost like finding your home in like a film crew and production crew. And I feel like TGR is kind of cool in that sense because you have Colter, who's been going at it for over a decade, and you're like still with like the same production team and stuff like that. And like I don't know, I kind of want to talk about what is it like once you're in the mix. Like it does seem to have this pretty like maybe like a tighter bond or like a more like
TGR family, dude.
yeah, like a family aspect to it. And I don't know, I mean, like Colter, what's that been like for you to kind of see the evolution of it and like almost, I'm sure, grow with the crew as well?
Yeah, I mean, just like seeing everyone this weekend is a great example. Like when we all get together, the first time we've all been together in a year. That's why we had so much fun, and it's such a wild weekend because we really are kind of a family. You know, you've been in the mountains with all these guys. You've saved each other's lives, possibly. You've filmed each other. Your careers have grown together. So like it is like for sure like a family vibe, and we know how to work together. And there's tons of relationships within that family, right? Like I've worked with B-Dan and J-Fan, and you know the list goes on, and Mac and Sage and McNutt and McRae now, and Parkin a bunch, you know, and you get to know how everyone is in the field because, to be honest, it's not always easy. There's a lot of stresses in the field. You're like in the mountains, it's dangerous. You're trying to get shots. You're trying to chase light. It can be frustrating. It can be amazing. It can, you know, there's just tons of. There's definitely battles that happen out there. Like Parkin and I have gone at it a few times. Like Nils and I's first experience, I was like, "What are you doing? You're jamming up the program." I had it lined up, and it takes a lot to get things, to get the train going in the right direction, and it's really easy for it to get derailed. And I might not be the most easy person to work with, but I've been credited with making sure stuff gets done. JK was like, "I'm stoked you showed up in Jackson this year and kind of rocked the boat and got things moving again, because it was getting a little wishy-washy there for a minute." It takes a lot. So it's I feel like kind of like becoming a veteran now after all of these years and understanding what it takes to keep that train on the tracks.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I'm sure in contrast to like being earlier on in your guys' career, and like, and granted, like it's interesting because I've experienced a similar thing with snowboarding where like being newer, when I was newer into filming, I was like, the skill was all there if the jump was built, you know, but like all, you know, that's like 5 or 10% of making a movie,
Jumping
right?
on that, I know I've just been chatting, but people watch a ski movie, and I've heard it 1,000 times, and I used to say it too. I could do that while you're watching what's going down. And I'm like, you probably could, bro. But like, could you put yourself at the top of that line with a bunch of people filming you with that light at that time, like putting all of that together? And then could you perform after you put all that shit together, all that pressure that's now pointed at it?
Yeah.
Then
Like
could you
Weeks,
perform?
months. Yeah. Months. It's crazy. Like, you know, to add to that too, I feel like it's taken me almost 10 years to like feel confident and like I could take out a crew of people into the backcountry or something to be like, this is how it works, you know? And there was years of just like kind of like sitting back, and, you know, I always had the fortune of like being out with more experienced like people, so I just could kind of like absorb and learn like what to do, and then like maybe what not to do and what I should do differently. Like all, you know, all these things. And like, it's wild because like this past winter was a little bit different, but you even get into even making the right, like logistical decisions to set you up to be hitting the jump or the line is like almost a full-time job in itself.
Totally.
For sure. Gotta have a lot of knowledge too.
You're looking far ahead, and you're making a lot of, you end up building. I end up probably hitting half of the jumps I build. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, you build a lot of jumps.
Yeah, and then you build it one day, and you're gonna come back and hit it.
Done that. Yeah.
The next day, and then the next day it's snowing, and then the next day it's raining, and then the next day it blows wind, and then you leave.
Then you leave. Yeah.
Filming in the winter is logistically the toughest thing, literally on the planet to try to capture. I feel like.
Yeah, you know, it'd be cool to kind of get your perspective on it too, because like you are a very good mountain biker. And you know, we can get into Legacy Bike Park and all of that and like your involvement in biking. But I guess like at first, like contrasting filming some clips for biking and then trying to film like a clip for skiing.
Mountain biking is so much easier to film. Yeah. Like I've kind of in the last few years, you're trying to branch out a little bit more and pursue mountain biking at a higher level. And whether that's filmmaking or competing like on a circuit somewhere, I've always felt with how much effort and like just like absolute chaos goes into trying to like produce a ski segment. I feel like with a similar amount of work, but then like I just feel like my skiing is a at a higher level than my mountain biking. But with how much easier filming mountain biking is, I could almost release like an equally as sick segment of me riding a bike to
Wild.
skiing because of just like, oh, you didn't get the shot, just go back up, pedal it in. Like the dirt looks just as fresh as it did a line ago. So
Yeah.
you can like repeat the thing you were trying to get way more than you can on a set of skis. And yeah, it's been funny to kind of see the contrast between the two activities.
Think about one ski clip is potentially like
The one-
days of effort
Yeah.
to get on top and
Totally.
like actually go and ski down something.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you miss
Or-
the light, or
Yeah.
you just kind of messed up.
Yeah, or like maybe even one clip. I mean, I've had, and with like the backcountry crew this past spring, I like had we did Chaz Gap and Pyramids Gap,
Yeah.
and like
Nice.
I didn't even, and that's like a whole different epic in itself, and like it still comes back right to your like trick selection and like even going into like, well, what's been done? What should I do? What would work for me? And like you kind of like take a gamble, and it was probably like 3 days of building, and like took a gamble and like didn't get the trick that I wanted to get. Like
really?
four,
On Chads?
like 4 full grueling days.
Is that your
and,
first time
Really?
hitting Chads?
and then to like
Thing's a
Terrifying?
jacker.
it was scary. Yeah.
Oh my
it was
God,
like, dude,
that's
honestly, I like
Have you hit it?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Have you guys hit it?
I've never hit it. I'd like to hit it.
Dude. I was like, I'm out. I'm not.
Yeah,
doing
he
that.
kind of brought it up to me too, and I was like, I just ruptured my Achilles. I'm trying not to hit too many jumps, but I might be down.
Maybe down. Yeah.
You guys built it?
Yeah.
It's a big build, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like a
It was a
3 or 4 day
big
build.
bill. Yeah, it was like we kind of did it, and like we didn't have that many people either. Like
Oh,
there's
really?
probably like 8 of us.
Yeah.
Contextually, when I did Pyramids, it was to support our friend Emma Crosby, who was being like she was the first girl to hit Pyramids. So there was like 22 people on that build, and it still
Wild.
took 3 days. And we just like, I don't know. Yeah, Chaz was interesting because I was just like, again, it maybe goes back even to like if you go to Alaska for the first time and you've seen everybody do
legendary
it,
spot.
it's like it's a legendary spot and like
Proving ground.
a proving ground. And then like I feel like I had a good season, so I was like a competent jumper. But then just going into that jump, there's like other things I hadn't accounted for. And the first time I hit it, I was like, oh my God. That thing is gnarly.
You were hitting it late in the season, weren't you?
Yeah, we hit it almost in May. It was like the last weekend
wow.
of April.
So
There
you
wasn't like a
certainly
weather.
weren't landing in powder.
No,
Yeah,
no.
that's gnarlier for sure. You see
Yeah.
those old clips of people just smacking in the back of that.
But there's
thing,
like 2
it's
feet of
like-
pow, and then it's
yeah,
like fine.
Yeah.
Or then you see
totally.
Tanner Hall hit it in the spring, and
That's when you.
what
all
is he?
ice
Does he
goes
break his
south.
ankles or something?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's the classic.
I don't know. I can't remember.
What is it?
He played it pretty subtle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes some
Always
Hollywood
sunny.
film.
Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Like
Oh,
big
yeah,
old
yeah, yeah.
Big
Dang.
on Tanner's
Yeah.
broken ankles viral video.
What were you trying?
Me,
don't mind
I
me
was
asking.
totally. So I did like I just did like a front 3, and we got that, and that was cool. I cleared it, and like
Yeah.
it worked. And then I wanted to try like a switchback 7, and just like for me and with that trick with like the geometry of snowboarding, like it's really easy to like bend at your waist, especially if there's like a lot of compression. Like spinning off my heels and going cab would have been a little easier because you're like more like upright and stacked, so you could like handle the G's.
Okay.
But anyways, like switch backside spinning off my toes, like you can like bend at the waist easy. And that's the thing with that jump is there's just so much compression and not enough time for like a setup turn. And like McRae, you would know this with like so much park skiing time, like you have this like ingrained kind of like I do my swooping setup turn, and then like at the bottom of the transition I like set up and then I snap off the lip. There's almost like a perfect geometry of like how you can ideally hit a jump, especially a bigger jump, and stay like controlled going off. Chaz Gap isn't really like that. You just have to like stay straight and then like snap off the lip.
And you're
Going
like
fast,
80
too.
miles an hour.
Yeah, going fast and like the
It's
also
a
like
whole
the
different like way of setting
Yeah.
the trick. I find that with like a lot of backcountry jumps, you're like, you know how to do this trick, but it's almost different. It's whether it's too kicky or there's like quick turn into it or something. There's always these variables.
Totally.
That's why it's so much harder in the backcountry. The takeoff, and then obviously the landing being pow. You know, everything's just a whole lot harder. And it's like Colter said, watching the movies growing up, you're like, I can do all these tricks. Like I got that easy, and pow, soft landing, way better. You know, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot harder than you think, and to actually put it all together and land these tricks you want to do in the backcountry is a battle.
Totally.
Especially on a jump like Chad's. I mean, I don't know. I haven't hit that yet, but
You
we'll
can imagine,
see.
yeah, you guys imagine, but I don't know. It's like you should elaborate more on that too, because I feel like you had like I've spent time with people that kind of come from either strictly filming backgrounds, but then also I've spent a lot of time with someone like Sage who has such a foundation of like park backgrounds, and it kind of there was like kind of a like learning curve for him, and then he was just like at the highest level already, and
You're
like
talking about snowboarding
Costain.
Sage.
yeah, Sage Costain.
So good.
Yeah, my bad. Like, did you experience something like that too? Like, your expectations were through the roof when you wanted to start filming, and then all of a sudden you're like, why does my lip keep breaking down? Or like, you couldn't even like get to the trick part. Like, what was that like?
Yeah, I think you nailed it right on the head. Definitely went into it with a lot of confidence, and then the first couple of years of doing it full time, like even just barely being able to like get enough shots for a segment, there's a lot of pressure, and yeah, it takes a lot of time, and it's really hard to like you get one shot at it. You've spent all this time building the jump, get a nice reset, bluebird day, for all that to line up in itself is getting lucky, and on top of that, for you to land your tricks like in a park, doing a park shoot, you're gonna go out there, what you want to do, you're gonna land everything first, if not second try, and you can hit it as many times as you want. In the backcountry, it's like you got to land it first, second, maybe third try. But if not, you probably won't even get another shot at it. And then on top of that, I was going to mention earlier when you were talking about the big builds on Pyramid and Chad's and needing a ton of people, that I've always it's like a love-hate relationship when you're in the backcountry, because it's a lot to build these big jumps, and the more hands the better, but usually that means more bomb holes.
Yep.
So you're like, do I want to put more effort into this and have a smaller crew or a bigger crew get it done, and then you get way less shots on that thing, less attempts and less shots, but yeah, it's definitely, the first couple of years I was humbled. Like, yeah, this is way harder than you anticipate it to be. But yeah, just learning the little things you can do to kind of better your chances of getting good shots and landing tricks and stuff. One thing, Travis Rice actually mentioned it, how much it means to just put time into the build and get it right and do it, well, because it's gonna, render a lot better tricks, a lot better shots, and feel like it's hard to get everybody on board with that. Half the time you're out there and everyone's just, again, too many chefs in the kitchen. You're like, let's do this perfect. Everyone just wants to slap together and be done with it, move on.
I'll build a perfect jump with you.
What?
I like perfect edges.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes
How
a
is that
long way.
crew-wise? Because I've had that with crews that some people are like, they just want to like kick a pile of snow, and maybe the rider's like talented enough that that's all they need. But I'm much more in the camp of like, this will look like a Galileo sculpture, or I will not touch it.
Shit,
Yeah.
super clean. Oh yeah, they do look sick.
Little Tetris block stacking.
yeah, exactly.
I'm
Yeah,
way
it
more
looks
on the
better.
janky jumps.
Yeah, Jake and Colter have a similar vibe. They just throw snow at a hill. And then turn it into
That'd probably work.
I used
the
to be
free
more
skier
like
in
that.
you.
Yeah. I used to call it a Colter jump, and it was just like,
Yeah, step
quick
on it
flash
4
spin,
times.
let's move on. But no,
Hey,
I've learned to
respect.
build nicer, cleaner wedges. But
Yeah.
I will say Parkin's made some really nice jumps over the year, and he has a really weird, unique vision. Like, you're gonna put a jump right.
Yeah, the first time we
Dang.
filmed together, you're like, that's not gonna work.
Yeah, I was like betting you money. Like, there's no way that's gonna work.
What
dude.
jump was it? What was it?
There is like in the first film Far Out that I was a part of, we went up to Terrace, BC for like a month-long trip, and then ended up just playing in these like pillowy trees for a while. And there was like a standalone, like tipped over huge tree stump that just had a pillow on top of it. And then on the edge of this other weird pillow in between some tight trees, I like started stacking these Tetris blocks. And the Colter the whole time was like, dude, this is not going to work. I don't know what you're thinking. But
That's
Did it
not
work?
the uplifting,
worked.
positive.
Yeah, like flat spins on his little-
in the
little
But
field.
dog.
I like helped you work on it. I was like, this isn't gonna work, but I'll just so I can watch you crash.
motivation.
turned out,
I've had that. Yeah.
But he
yeah.
stomped a sick flat spin, and it was cool. It was really unique. He's got a great vision. This
Yeah.
guy.
I think that's part of
Yeah.
like the mountain bike side of me too. Is like
I
I'm
was
sitting
gonna
in an
say that sounds like
excavator.
some bike stuff.
Yeah, just sitting in the excavator all summer, like staring at like the topography of the earth you're working on, and just trying to find like transitions floating around it. Certainly helps me like in the winter and trying to find little tranny finders or
Yeah.
certain spots I want to be able to take off.
Yeah. Totally.
A lot of people ask me, like Amy was asking me this weekend, how do I figure out this backcountry jump thing. Where do I build them? I'm like, it's so hard to find the right spot.
Yeah.
And my advice to everyone is to look for the landing first. You know
Oh,
what
yeah.
I mean? You need the landing's more important. Find a landing
Yep.
and find a way to get to the landing.
Yeah.
Just for the listeners here.
Yeah,
Bet you
for
there's some
sure.
other people thinking like that.
Yeah, like how do I do it? I've had that
That
conversation.
seems like
Yeah.
a given, but
It does, but you don't.
but yeah, there's
When you go into it and you're looking for a jump spot, you're looking for the jump spot. You know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
need to flip that logic and look for the landing spot.
Totally.
And then
gonna
make
add
sure you
to
got
the-
speed. Remember our speed issue we had this year on that jump?
so many variables.
Yeah.
Oh,
sled
yeah.
We were like starting like way higher than we thought. We're like
Oh yeah.
freaking flying.
Racer talk.
Yeah, you found the landing, but you didn't look at the like in run
did
prior.
not.
Oh, I did, and we were
Yeah.
like, "Is there enough? I don't know."
Where was this last season? Where are you talking
In
about?
Jackson
Okay.
area.
Yeah.
Jake and I and Maggie hit this
Yes.
jump. It
they
kind of
hit
it
it?
worked,
It
but
totally worked, but
it
it took us a while to like, you're like, all right, we need to actually figure the speed out here.
meanwhile,
that the-
Parkin's just down chirping us
you
in
go.
the radio. I got this
No,
really
that was
cool
another
jump.
one.
It's gonna be rad. We're like, all right, we'll be down there in just a minute. And
We're working.
I solo
And then we-
stacked this freaking.
we get down there,
cheese
it's a
wedge.
castle that he built.
Parkin's like tarps off, just like ripping his jump, like shades coming. Like every 10 minutes, it's like 10 feet further. Like
Yeah.
4:00 in the afternoon.
And it was like a
March.
20-mile freaking whoop sled ride in, so it was the last day we were gonna be out there.
Nice.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that-
Thought we were gonna
That
have
jump
some,
was
like-
so sick. Though.
Jake got a sick shot on it though.
Nice.
I know. I feel like I stole your.
Coulter's
shine.
Coulter's that. This is your trick, dude. You know what you're doing.
That was a
Dude.
good
Yeah.
jump.
Have you ever hit rocker gap?
Dude,
Right.
that's on my list for sure.
Dude,
That
I
thing's a
have
dog.
not. It was for that's the one in Guardsman's, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the one I wanted to like. You know, I even remember like when I first got into filming, I was like wrote down a list like Chad's Gap, Pyramid, like
Yeah.
Mother, which is like a jump in a Whistler, and Rocker
Oh,
Gap
is
was
that
on
that
there.
Crazy step down. Yeah, I think so.
And I've since kind of written off Rocker Gap because like logistically it's like south facing, so you have to
Yes.
like
Doesn't
get
line
some
up very often.
yeah, it doesn't really line up very often.
This year would have been good, I bet, up there.
Dude, we had
Yeah.
the
Probably
funniest
would've
little
been
freaking experience where Jake and I were working on one of those first short films we did together.
Yeah.
And like had no clue what we were even looking at. We were just sledding around Guardsman's trying to figure out like what we were gonna do for a few days.
Yeah.
We were like, man, look at this sick little like road gap right here. Like this doesn't seem like too big of a build. And then like that evening,
true.
prior to
Definitely
us
a
even,
small build. Just pat down pretty much, but a
dude,
big
it
gap.
took a decent
No,
stack.
it's
Well,
a
I
build.
know, yeah, but
Yeah, it's
like,
a build.
In
probably
comparison to
chiller
Chad's,
than-
though.
Yeah, in comparison, yeah, like we got
Yeah,
two
yeah,
guys,
yeah.
totally compared to Chad's, I guess. But that evening we like went down, had dinner with some friends, and then started like talking about this little road gap that we thought we found. Like maybe we're gonna be the first guys to do this.
Yeah.
And then all of a
We
we
had
were like,
no
"Are you
idea.
talking about rocker gap?"
Rocker Gap.
And then we
And
were
it
like,
looked so mellow.
the
Remember,
most
we're like, oh, this
classic
thing's gonna be
gaps in the
chill. And then we built it like,
Oh,
this
yeah,
thing's a
that one.
dog.
I've had that.
"Yeah,
Yeah. I've
big.
totally had that.
Did you still hit it?
dude." So we built this freaking jump. I was like, "Jake, that's too much pop," and he's like, "No, this is gonna be great. Like,
Yeah,
we don't need to add any more snow."
Janky.
That's what I was thinking. That one's like such a step down that it's like you almost want like
It's like a downhill lift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we had full like moon booter lift, dude.
No, we didn't.
Dude, anyways, we
it
hit
was-
it once though, and it was Jake that freaking
Yeah.
teed it up first hit, and he had just gotten out of shoulder surgery and had like a plate holding his collarbone together.
You sure did.
And literally,
I
we had
did
also
not.
probed the landing after the fact to see how deep it was going to be. Dude, it was a foot deep on the knuckle, and there's a
God, yeah,
guardrail.
that's-
Yeah, the guard
On the side of the road.
It was
Yeah,
early again. It was in January, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was super early, and the guardrail was
God,
poking up.
dude.
And it's like a
was
talus
lethal.
field almost, right? Like,
Yeah.
probably
Yeah, there's a
rocky
rocks down
underneath.
there.
Yeah, we like
Fortunately,
rode
go
around like
To the
So
right
Jake-
or to the
To the
left?
left.
So Jake guineaed it, and
Dude,
how'd it go?
Jake guineaed it, freaking like got like halfway through 3, and then just was going so fast,
Yeah,
and
it
so
was-
huge the wind like caught his skis, and just
Oh,
turned
yeah,
him
one of those.
all the way onto
Yeah,
his head,
dude.
dude, and he landed on the shoulder that he had just had surgery on.
Hopefully on the guardrail too.
But no
Yeah.
rocks.
I definitely made it. I was like, I gotta get over the guardrail. That was my only thing. And I think I was just freaked out and I set way too hard and I was just like flying, like, oh my God, no way. Like, way too big.
The clip is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
And then I didn't hit it again. Parkin was like,
I never
"Dude, you
even
should
hit it.
this
I was
thing."
like, nope.
Yeah.
So you
What was
only
that?
one
Heavy one.
person
I
hit
hit
it one
one.
time.
On my
Today, Bill.
head.
See,
that
this is
doesn't
what
work.
we're talking about.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it was insane.
Oh,
I'm
man.
pretty much ruled rocker out. I'm over
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Dude, but
exactly.
apparently Josh Gold was telling he built it last year and they hit it.
I'm sure if you built it a little better, it wouldn't be as gnarly.
No, Parkin was
Yeah,
totally
see,
right. We built
exactly.
it
More
completely
time
wrong.
in. and-
Yeah.
Yeah. Start building up the landing, you know, get a cat on that road.
Honestly.
right.
Yeah, if you like shove some snow over early seasons. Yeah.
I kind of want to get into last winter specifically, and like I've seen in the past that there's like does TGR still do the like safety week or something like that? Like, is that kind of like you guys all get exposed into that?
Yeah.
TGR IPRW.
Okay.
International Pro Rider Workshop.
Yeah, I want to get into that. What's up with that? Because we have something similar in snowboarding, but it's really cool to see, that being implemented on a larger scale.
It's really cool. I think it's the coolest thing TGR does.
Yeah. Well, what is it? When does it start?
It's in early December, isn't it?
Yeah, mid December. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's up at Grand Targhee, pretty low key at that time of the year. They're like just opening up, but it's cool because they just it brings everyone together, kind of get reacquainted and get prepared for the season. But yeah, they literally bring in every photographer, filmer, athlete that is even possibly going to be working with them, just to get us all on the same page and fine tune the backcountry rescue skills. And yeah, it's super cool because it's a very in-depth course,
Like safety workshop.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like
It's everything from Avi to first
Yeah.
aid to like spending a night in the wilderness to
Glacial
building
travel.
sprints. They try to make it all encompassing, which has been really good because that stuff's overwhelming. It's so much information and
it's a lot for sure.
And they
but
make it pretty realistic too. They'll just you might have a hint that like a scenario might pop up at some point, but then just like out of the blue, you're like middle of like digging a snow pit, and all of a sudden you're like in the middle of a huge avalanche that they like simulate.
Yeah.
Then there's 3 buried victims, like one's got a broken leg, and you got to get these people down the bottom of the mountain. So it's like real life sort of scenarios that
Yeah.
It's cool too because they tailor it to like
specifically
if you were
what
to
we're
take-
probably gonna.
Yeah, if you take an Avi 1 or even like an Avi 2 Pro or whatever, it's like it's not like pretty realistic to what we do on a day-to-day basis. Like we're obviously playing in like pretty serious avalanche terrain and whatnot, so it's like they tailor like, all right, you're gonna be in these mountains doing stuff that an Avi 1 would tell you like don't do.
Yeah.
So like, how do we execute this
Just don't
in a
even be
safe
there.
manner? Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
okay, we know we're doing it. Let's do it.
we're gonna
right.
be there, so let's
Yeah.
figure out how to be there
Yeah, let's do it
safely
right.
as possible.
Yeah.
And it's cool because they break you into the teams that you pretty much work with throughout the winter. So it's like
Yeah.
all your filmers and like Parkin and I usually get linked up together. So it's like it's cool. Everyone's on the same page.
Yeah,
We know our program.
to add to that, like super important, just that whole being with the people that you're actually going to be in the field with,
Yeah.
practicing this stuff. Because I definitely suggest and recommend everyone out there, like if you're getting in the backcountry, go with your buddies and go to a beacon park and practice with the people that you're going to be out there with. They say everyone kind of says that all the time, but yeah, they nail it on that front. And
Yeah.
definitely helps boost some confidence when you're standing at the top of a line. You're a little nervous, but you're like, oh
Yeah.
man, I know those dudes down there. They've got my back for real. I know they
found
do.
that beacon in under 3 minutes. Yeah, it's crushing.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Reliable.
Yeah, well, that's cool. I mean, it probably also it helps refresh even just the process and the decision making of how do we communicate throughout the day? How do we maybe set our objectives? And it is really easy. Like Colter and I experienced this. We went on a film trip together, and it's it is hard to just especially with someone new, go from 0 to 100 and try to do a project, right?
Yeah.
And it's stressful for everyone, and you make communicate tricky and all these things, and so similar with the the TGR safety workshop. There's a similar one that we've done, and last year was a good example for myself that I just I feel I was paired up with Sage Kostenberg. And, we did a lot of stuff at the workshop together, and then we just kind of ended up riding a majority of the season together. And our the filmer and photographer we were working with, all 4 of us did the workshop together, and then it was the best season I've ever had. And just you kept making good decision after good decision after good decision. And I'm sure that probably helps you guys to be as
For
efficient as
sure,
possible,
yeah.
especially.
Yeah.
I mean, last winter, let's kind of get into it, because last winter there was a lot of snow comparatively, especially to in the Utah Jackson area. And
crazy.
when did everyone start filming?
I got a couple clips early January around Jackson, and then kind of just continued to bounce back to Jackson just because the snow was kind of like Utah. You just continued to get dumped on all season. So
We were February. By February, we were kind of grinding it out.
Yeah,
Yeah, we were posted up down here. We're in Jackson area.
yeah, totally.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of the norm is
Yeah.
winter comes and you feel like you want to be chomping at the bit to get shots and start working on your segment. But usually you really got to wait for it to fill in and, be able to go on these trips. And yeah, I'd say like February is normally the time that the season kind of starts. And then like March, April is like, a peak time to be filming when the snowpack's, the deepest and everything's filled in. But yeah. I mean, this year was tough too because, you think, oh, record-breaking snowfall, like sickest winter ever, movies are going to be insane. But really, it actually makes it a lot harder because it was snowing the whole winter. So we couldn't get those bluebird days and those windows to actually film. That was my battle with the whole trying to get up to Jackson. I was talking to JK, who kind of runs the logistics with TGR, trying to like line up some time to get up there. And every time, just look at the forecast, and it's like, yeah, man, well, it's not looking too good for the next week. We got to pray. They just had people around and kind of get lucky, but to actually like plan a trip up there, it was pretty difficult this winter. When did we go on our trip? It was February. Yeah.
That was your Colorado trip.
Yeah, I think it was probably mid to late Feb.
Yeah.
And was it right after that you bounced to Jackson?
Pretty much, yeah. I might have taken like a week off.
Yeah.
Wasn't it before? Wasn't Jackson before Colorado?
Nope.
Oh,
No, I
really?
went to Jackson after. Yeah. I was actually looking at going to Europe. That was kind of my like light. That's another thing people always ask, like, you got trips lined up? And I'm like, I don't know where I'm going until 2 weeks before it happens, just because of what we're talking about. Weather, you need to make sure that there's a snowpack and like things are going well before you book a ticket flying all the way to Europe. And Europe had a terrible year, so I was just poking around Colorado, just doing my thing because I love being in the mountains, skiing and exploring new zones, and kind of came across this pretty rad little, there's like a lake with all these like kind of spine fun, like nosy takeoffs.
Studio.
A little studio we were calling it. Yeah, you can put, that's another thing, you put like a bunch of cameras wherever you want with snowmobiles. It's just like ding, ding, ding. And so I was like texting JK, sending him GoPros, like starting to bug him, like, dude, this is sick. We're not going to Europe because it looks terrible. Like, let's get this going. And I was like, we need to do it now because it's going to get warm, and it was very east facing. So in February, you got pretty good low angle sun still. So yeah, he pulled the trigger and sent out McRae and Simon, who's a rad younger kid from Canada. Really enjoyed being in the mountains with him. Yeah, we just put together a Colorado segment, which is hard to do because Colorado's known to be high and dry, high Abbey danger.
Yeah, totally.
Which it typically is. This year was better because we had a little more snow in this area in particular. It's not like high alpine mountains. It's sort of like low-hanging fruit. And yeah, we pulled off a rad segment, went on a hut trip, and I had a lot of fun. And I think that segment shines in the film just because of like, I don't know, the historical references of the hut trips and just like the exploratory vibes we had going and some goofiness. So
Definitely, it's well-rounded, and they did a great job kind of portraying the whole thing and, yeah, adding some context to the skiing, But, yeah, and like you were saying, it was super, we got really lucky actually with the conditions we had and where we were at. It was like not quite deep enough Colorado to be like that sketchy, can't touch anything or it'll slide type deal. It was like kind of almost like a little bit more like a Utah snowpack, it felt like. But we got super lucky. I mean, bunch of snow, big reset on our zone for like our last day out there, and literally made the whole thing possible. 10 days and like almost filmed the whole thing in one day on the last day. But bluebird, 2 feet in the zone, kind of maybe wind blown in, but I expected stuff to really be moving in there, and it was just solid. So I don't know, that seemed like very rare thing in the backcountry for it to all come together like that on that day. But
Totally.
yeah, super fun.
Oh, that's cool. And is that like, from my understanding, as TGR, do they like pre-plan and commit to some trips for segments? Or is that like an older model? Wasn't that like a common thing? I remember hearing that and thinking like, whoa, that sounds crazy. Like, what if the weather's bad?
there's so
Europe
many
or
different
something
variables,
like
I
But
think
is there kind of a home base in Jackson that like all the athletes can sort of like have a revolving door and like drop in and out of, or what's that like? How do they break up like the crews and the trips throughout the like last winter, for example?
The athletes, it's kind of on them a little bit too. You can like pitch your own ideas, and then as long as TGR feels comfortable putting a like crew together for that like specific zone and you can get the permits for it, then generally they'll take you up on it. But then also, like you were saying, Jackson, you definitely have like a bit of a revolving just like cycle of athletes throughout the season that
Jackson's
Get a
kind of the
bounce through.
hub, it seems like.
Yeah.
And they're always shooting like a Jackson POW seg too. So it's like, oh, who's around? Colter, McRae's around, sick. Let's go shoot POW.
Yeah.
So there's always people bouncing in and out of Jackson. But then you get like the BC crew, the Whistler-based people, and they're like always shooting in Whistler. So they obviously know it. So yeah, everyone kind of bounces around. But TGR's sick because you can really pitch them an idea, and they'll be like, all right, let's see if we can figure this out.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's
cool.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
They do have some things pre-lined up as well, though.
They do, yeah.
Sometimes with like partnerships with a heli-op or something.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's a little more locked in, and it is a little more hit and miss. But
Yeah.
I think there's a little less overhead for them if like they're partnered with a heli. They don't have to pay for that heli tab. So yeah, we'll send some guys up in
Yeah.
mid-February, and hopefully we pull something off. You know.
Yeah.
But if we're paying all the money to go on these trips, I think we're a lot more selective on when we're going to go. Like, because that all comes out of like our pockets as well, and people don't realize that.
Totally.
People think like, oh, you're filming with TGR, they pay for everything.
No.
Yeah, it's
Gotta
definitely
pay to
childhood
play.
misconception, dude.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they
everyone
don't
was
tell
a
you that as a
Hollywood
kid.
star when you
Yeah,
got
yeah,
TGR.
You're like, what do you
Yeah.
mean? It's like roll out the red carpet. Like you've never spent any of your own money. You're like,
Yeah.
I know. How funny is that too? And that's like an added layer as well when you're filming a project too, right? Because you're, you know, ideally you have some travel budget to cover your expenses, and then like I think all of us have probably been in positions where it's like, I will go over budget if I go on this helicopter trip, but it will be sick, so I'm gonna go.
Yeah, totally.
And you're like, you know, you're investing in yourself in a way,
Yeah,
right?
100%,
Like,
yeah.
We're also doing this for the main reason that we love
you love it, yeah.
shredding.
And like, you kind of just, if you can put yourself in those positions, but you know, to add to that, right? There's always those moments of like added layer of stress, right? Where you're at least I'll like end up going through like the budget in my head, like in the moment or something. I'll be like, dude, just don't.
You're
think
standing
about
on top
it.
of a line. You're like, oh god.
You're like, oh my god, if I don't land this, and like we might not get that, and like if I don't get
I
that,
have to throw
then,
more
like,
$100 into the rotors.
Yeah.
Chuck them up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So Alaska, did you guys get up to Alaska this past season?
Yeah, I was
Parkin
on the
did.
AK trip this year, which
Yeah.
was super unreal. Like,
Cool.
absolute childhood dream, especially with the crew we were with. Because, yeah, Ian McIntosh and Sage Ketterberry-Losa.
Sick.
Just like, they're the
Couple hot
guys.
Kotzenberg.
Couple old heads.
Oh, they're
On the
legends.
stage.
Yeah. But, yeah, it was so crazy to, like, get that experience with them and just, like you were saying earlier, getting out with more experienced veterans sort of and learning their ways. It was just, like, the whole time it was just, like, going to school and, yeah, watching those guys interpret the terrain in mountains and snowpack and just how to be productive, but also knowing, like, today's not the day. Like, you can just kind of take a soul shred and then, yeah, eat some good food at the lodge and get back out there when the, like, weather aligns for you to go and send it.
I heard
Yeah.
you guys played a lot of Frisbee golf.
Yeah, that's a classic maneuver up in AK is, like, the last 2 seasons, it's been just, like, a month-long trip and literally so many down days that we had to, like, adopt a new activity. And Frisbee golf has been the new go-to. So
Nice.
tons of sick courses up in Alaska.
Yeah,
It's been really cool.
I could see that. Where in Alaska were you guys?
This year we're in Palmer, Alaska, so just above just above Anchorage. Yeah, just north of Anchorage. And yeah, super sick training. It was a zone that TGR had been to in the past, but I think it was with Nick McNutt and crew a few years ago. And it was wild flying around this year just because they had a pretty marginal season in this specific area that we had like they had that deal aligned with the heli company prior to us getting there, so we were kind of locked in. But it was super sick train, just literally most of it was bare bones, like rock. And there
Yeah.
was a couple lines that we stared at that literally a few years prior they had been filming and had sick runs down, except this year it was just like a spine of boulders.
Yeah.
And there was no snow on it. So
Perfect.
definitely had to get creative and find new zones that they hadn't
Yeah.
played in before. But yeah, there was a pretty big venue for us to go and scope.
That's cool. Yeah, I know that's always the case, right? Like trying to, especially going somewhere like Alaska where maybe one season you think it's going to be a certain way and then you come back and you're like, and there is a massive Berkshire opened at the bottom of my line now. Like that does not go anymore.
Yeah, it's wild to see the mountains change too. Like
Yeah, like the mountains are like, it's
Yeah.
not even like snow, but especially up there too, like everything, a bunch of things like butt up to the glaciers. So like, as like maybe glaciers open up, like
Totally.
some lines just get, you know,
Yeah, there was a line-
written off if you're
Yeah.
trying to be, you know,
you're trying to stay
surviving.
alive.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
trying to stay back up
You
in
can
these
do
mountains.
it, but like you just might not get home. That's the only issue.
Might be the last thing you do.
Yeah, it'll be at the bottom of it.
Play safe.
Yeah.
That's number
It was a
one.
challenging trip for you guys, though, huh?
Yeah, it was really challenging.
That
like,
sounds tough.
super stressful too, because those are like the highest budget trips for sure too. Heading
Oh, yeah.
up to
And you had
AK.
to extend, didn't you?
Yeah, we had to, literally got like most of our segment after we had been there for 3 weeks and then decided to extend another week just because it was continually raining, snowing,
Yep.
like tiny little weather windows, but then it would be like sketchy, ivy conditions. So, yeah, we had to extend the trip a few extra days, and then Steve Aoki came to the lodge. We had dinner with him for a night.
How's Steve doing?
Steve's great, man.
Nice.
Yeah, it was so fun. They're like, sick. His like private chef showed up, dude. One afternoon, he was like playing a show in Anchorage, and then they were like, "Yeah, Steve Aoki's gonna come up here and go heli skiing." And we're like, "Okay."
Did he get some shots? Did he get it like
He was.
Did
He did his own
he in the
program.
movie or what?
Who? Steve who?
Steve Aoki.
He's like one of them.
Oh,
Huge
yeah,
DJ guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you said Steve O or Steve Aoki.
Yeah.
Steve-O.
Steve O. That'd be sick. I'd way
Steve
rather
O,
go
yeah. Right?
Yeah. But
Oh man, that's crazy.
That
So
guy
then
go to X Games a bunch. Was he like running around with like Kyle? Who is it? Steve
Aoki.
Steve Aoki.
Yeah. He was like cruising around X Games with all the snowboarders and stuff.
No
He's
way.
like a big snowboard dude. Have you met him?
No, I
I think
haven't.
you should link up with him.
I got a
Mac
link.
was like-
Steve, hit me up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
That's epic.
Oh man.
Legend
So-
has it.
Legend has it. What's the end of the season sort of look like for you guys? Because eventually I feel like there's just, for me, there's kind of this mix of like, you can kind of grind it out, especially a year like this. You can like keep going. Do you guys like, did you all get to a point where you're like, I have 32 clips, I'm good? Or is it just like, I will go until there is dirt in the landing? Like, or you're just burnt out? Or, you know what I mean? What's like the end of the year for everyone? I feel like everybody kind of has their own like process and segue.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good thing you brought that up.
Yeah, we were going until there was dirt in the landing.
I went to
Really?
those dirt.
Nice.
I had
So
to
Yeah,
put,
you
I
were
had to
going
put
all the
snow
way.
until that.
Totally.
Yeah,
I heard you
yeah.
fucking stacked snow in the pyramid landing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great.
That's crazy.
But yeah,
I'd be mountain biking, I think.
yeah, totally. I know I should have been. McRae and Colter, you guys went pretty late though.
Well, we were trying to. There was this other pillow zone back in Aspen, and we did one trip there and got on a couple lines. But this is how it always goes. You go to a zone and you get on a couple lines, and then you see these other ones, and you're like, oh, we got to come back for those tomorrow. And then it snows and rains and blows for 2 weeks. And it's April by now, and it's every day is getting a little warmer than the last, and things are falling apart. But you're like, it's going to happen again. We're going to get that reset. And so we kept our eyes on it. And I ended up going back. You went back to Utah, and I came back to Utah and got stuck in Alta for like a week and missed it because that was the cold weather window. But I was stuck interlodged in Alta. They were literally, the road was closed.
Like
for a week.
mid-April or
Yeah,
something?
like mid, kind of
Yeah,
early.
the big one, like it was like all week long. You were stuck up there. We had this big plan, like, and I live here. I fortunately wasn't up at Alta when they, closed everything down. But yeah, we had this big plan to go back to the zone and get a couple more days in because it was that time of year where it's like you literally get 1, maybe 2 days before it gets too warm again or whatever. But yeah, Colter just got stuck up at Alta and. Yeah, I didn't make it back out there, but
And
we did.
that was the
we
window,
had
yeah.
one before that though, where we had gotten to this zone, and we actually got some. Given the 2 days window we had, I think we made the most of it for sure.
We did. Some of those
Capitalized on
shots
it.
got used.
Yeah.
I did end up going back to the zone though after I finally got out of jail in Alta and went back there, and I was like, oh, it's good. It'd be forecasted to snow 2 inches. I'm like, it's gonna over deliver. They're gonna get 6. That'll be just enough, and that's not enough when you're skiing pillows. You need a lot of snow. And I went back up there and drug a filmer in the zone, and we even paid him for the day, and it was just terrible. And I'm like, what am I doing, man?
Yeah, hang 'em
I
up.
kind of foresaw that, and I'm not gonna lie. Once Colter got stuck up at Alta, I was like in the back of my head, like, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, we're
off.
good. It's done.
We're in the clear, but yeah, it's just so hard to drive all the way out there. It's one thing for you when you're living
Yeah,
right next to
totally.
the zone, but yeah, it's just part of the battle. You got 1 day, you got to drive out there. There's so much that goes into this one day that you got to get super lucky for everything to come together. But usually it does, surprisingly enough. Like you put in the hard work, and that's just anything in life. You visualize it and put in the work, and one way or another, it seems to almost always come together.
Yeah, right. What's the term? It's like luck favors the prepared or something
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
well, I don't know.
Never heard that one, but I like it.
There's something. It's something like that.
It says it all the time. It's like, what is it? Oh, God.
Didn't you just say one earlier, or was that a different?
Rather be, I didn't
Something
say it, but rather be
favors-
lucky than good.
Oh,
Something like that. Heard that.
going off on a tangent.
That's words of wisdom.
Parkin, you had some stuff. When you left Jackson to go to AK. You were like, I'll be back. I'm gonna be back for that
Yo,
line.
Parkin's the king.
I got.
Yeah, what
there
was
was
the end of
two
your year
lines
like?
that I wanted so bad up in this like Jackson zone that we were in.
Yeah, you almost spoiled it.
Yeah.
Up in
Yeah, I know. Not what you want to say, but yeah, there's a few that
The
this
mountains.
year, the mountains around this area, and yeah, got back from AK and like there was a 1-day weather window, and I hit up like 4 filmers trying to get someone to come up into the mountains with me and go get these shots. No, they're all like, dude, season's done. I'm not going back out.
That's just how it goes.
That's
Yeah.
how it goes. I couldn't
how it
walk
goes.
for like a week after I ended my season.
Really?
Yeah.
My season went until
Yeah.
I think we did pyramids like it was like May 18th or something like that.
Good for you guys.
And then like I guinea pigged it, went too deep, like blew up in the landing, and then like hit it again, got a clip, and then straight up like was just I didn't actually do anything, which I was surprised by, but yeah, that was my like literal the most hurt I got all season, and I just like laid in
feeble
bed
mode.
for like 3 days, and then
I'm
like
done.
didn't I don't like for me, and I'm curious what it's like for you guys. Like, do you kind of take like some deload time, or is it just straight into like
I'm
summer
excited to get on
activities?
a mountain bike.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because for me, I'll start like training in like March or April, and then all of April I'm just like completely fatigued the whole time. But I'm like, I gotta get my forearms back for climbing. Like,
Yeah,
let me go.
totally.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I like getting back into the mix of things in the summer.
yeah.
So
I love summer.
Totally.
I
Yeah,
like
you just
jumping right into it.
yeah. Everyone kind of had a pretty good summer from what it sounds like too.
Yeah.
I was on the couch quite a bit of it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I
you
had
got
shoulder surgery.
shoulder surgery, right?
Yeah, first moto
totally
ride of the
forgot.
summer. Just separated my AC joint as badly as you can. So
Leave the engines at home, man.
I know,
Leave the engines in the cars.
No,
you
it's the
know, leave
wheelies.
it was the wheelies. If I wouldn't have done the wheelies,
It was the classic. We like got back from a sick ride and Park was like, I'm gonna do some wheelies at the truck.
Yeah,
Like right at the truck.
yeah.
Literally, dude. Oh my god.
Loop out
Yeah.
of the wheelie.
Jeez.
It was lame.
It's a
But
pretty
hate
good
to
place to get
see
hurt,
it.
actually, though.
No, it worked out really good. We actually
Yeah.
were like,
for
nah.
like a skier to like have your career have like just finished your season and then it is an all right time to get injured.
Yeah, you kind
At
of
the
get it out of
car,
the
too.
way.
At the car too. Yeah.
Yeah.
We would
Yeah.
just
On
like
the right
go
side.
straight to the hospital.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you didn't have to have like use too much of your training to
Yeah.
do a full like
Evac.
Sledis track. Yeah,
Yeah.
evac and
Totally. No,
you'd
fortunately.
service. It was warm.
Yeah.
Dude, Jake tried to. We thought my shoulder was dislocated, so
Yeah.
Jake was just yanking on it for like 10,
It was
15
so
minutes,
brutal.
dude. We met
Oh,
these
really?
random dudes on the side of the road
To try
too.
pop it back in.
Yeah,
You
because
guys
my
do
shoulder the
do
way
you know
it was.
the Cunningham? Do you guys do that one? Retaught
No.
that one?
I would love to know it though.
The Cunningham, it's like I did it on actually our guide popped out his shoulder this past winter, and it's this like shoulder pop in technique that you have the patient put their like arm, their hand on your shoulder, and you kind of just like
just, like,
massage.
massage it, right?
You just massage like the bicep and trap and all of that, and put like a little weight on it, and it like relaxes the muscles and it just like slips the arm back in, so you don't need to like pop it or anything.
yeah.
and,
Yeah,
like,
we should have
doesn't
tried that. We were fully aggressively
I was like
yanking.
pulling on it.
couple moto heads, classic.
Yeah, it's not fun.
We didn't really know. I was like, dude, it looks like it's out.
It certainly looked like it was out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a C joint. Though I feel like I've seen buddies with like a quarter pipe.
Dude, that's what I had.
Yeah, exactly. That's classic
man.
AC.
Yeah, it was
Jeez.
shoulders.
Yeah. But then you came back,
Shoulders.
you've been biking a little bit again.
Yeah, I had surgery and then was supposed to have like 6 weeks in the sling. Only worked for like a week and a half, but then just like tried to be careful with it. Literally like 3 days out of surgery, dude.
He's a specimen, is what he's trying to
I
say.
tripped.
Peak human performance and decision making.
I tripped 3 days out of surgery. I was like, they gave me all these major painkillers. I only took one, but I felt drunk for like 3 days. Literally tripped on a rock, dude, and landed on the shoulder that I just had surgery on. Like cut my elbow open. It was bleeding out of the sling. It's not good, but fortunately, yeah, everything. I didn't feel any pops, and everything felt like it was still sort of in place.
Perfect.
Then, yeah, took it really easy for like 6 weeks, but
Nice.
then I just jumped back on the mountain bike a few weeks ago. So.
Sick. That's awesome.
What did they do?
Yeah, it was
Fixing
like, so
AC
there's like
joint.
all these different grades of separating your AC joint.
Yeah, I
There's
didn't even know it went past 3. You're at a 5.
I was at a 5, and there is a 6, but supposedly there's only like
That
10
exists.
documented cases of a 6 where your like or your collarbone gets stuck behind your like scapula and is like all twisted.
Cool.
So mine was a 5, so that didn't happen, and
Probably
everything.
started as a 3 and then
Yeah, Jake made it way worse, dude.
Okay,
for
4,
sure.
5.
Right?
The doctor told me that too. He's like, "Yeah, you just made it worse." But yeah,
You know, that's so tough to hear.
yeah. So they drill through your
Live and learn.
collarbone and your
Yep.
shoulder blade, and then right now there's Kevlar like string holding it together.
Kevlar's a good call.
Yeah, Kevlar supposedly will last as long as I need it to. So
Sweet. Perfect. Yeah.
Stronger than it used to be.
Perfect. Oh man, and Jake, you just aside from being a on-site medic, you just had a pretty fun summer as well.
Yeah, it's been a sick summer.
What did you get up to?
I went surfing a bunch. I've been on a bit of a surfing bender.
Did you grow up surfing or like?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I moved to Montana, and there's not much surfing, obviously. Besides from the river, which is actually pretty fun. You got into that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Surfing the
I've
river's
been
fun.
Doing a little in Colorado, trying to just like, there's a couple sick ones in like Buena Vista and Salida.
Yeah, good ones.
But we went out there this spring actually, and it was just like too much flow just because of all the snow. It was actually like, you'd think more flow, the better the wave get, but it actually just kind of like
blows out.
skims over everything, and you
Fills
see
in.
kind of that perfect window of flow to make all that stuff work. But I went and did the Bend one.
Yeah, the Bend
That
one's sick.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's like
You can, like,
controlled by a dam or something. Like it's almost always works, and then they got the adjustable wing under there, so they can basically like keep it.
It's a river wave that has like
It's got hydraulics.
Yeah, it's like on a phone.
something.
Some dude like. Yeah, I guess this one guy, like, or, a couple guys have this app on their phone. They literally just like can adjust the wing under there.
It's crazy.
Pretty crazy.
They're gonna be building those things all over, I think. It's pretty cool.
I heard that actually there's one. Have you guys heard about that one stationary man-made wave down in Hurricane?
I've been hearing about that.
I have heard about
I
that.
heard it's gonna be like a private kind of resort. It's probably gonna be
Yeah.
like impossible to get in there anyway. But
Yeah.
I actually ran into a dude on the bike trail in Heber a couple summers ago, and I think he was like on the board for this thing, unless he was talking about a different one. But he started telling me, "Yeah, we got this. We just had this big meeting to approve a man-made wave here in Utah. I can't tell you where, but real close by." And I got all psyched, and then I found out it was all the way down in Hurricane. I'm like, "Yeah, well,
Not
it's
that close.
That close, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, it'd be cool to hopefully luck out and be able to go shred that one time.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Backcountry, maybe get on that. Get us
Yeah,
a trip
right.
down there.
Yeah. Let's get everybody in the mix.
Team bonding.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, get into the surf world.
Yeah.
Be sick.
And then McRae, you're kind of a bit of a fisherman, right?
Yeah. Yeah, again, I mean, it's tough. There's too many hobbies, but actually this summer I was kind of on the same train as Jake. I went down to El Salvador in May, did some surfing down there. And I mean, I've always been like crazy about surfing. It's just such a hard sport to put in your dues and like get enough time in the water and battle the crowds and get the conditions to line up. Almost, harder than skiing in that regard. But yeah, finally made a trip down to Central, went to El Salvador, and that was super sick. I mean, it was a heavy swell. It was like 6 to 8, 8 to 10 every day, which is way out of my league. And I was with a group of buddies that were like pretty good surfers and not afraid of much. So just peer pressure to really get out there. When
How was
they
it?
hadn't been there, I
how
probably
was
would have
that?
just sat on the beach and watched the whole time. But yeah, they kind of like pressured me to get out there, and it was
you get a
scary,
few?
humbling. Huh?
Did you get a few?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Like at first it was brutal. I kind of just paddled around a little bit, and but yeah, towards the end, kind of finally started coming together, like we talked about earlier, getting the arms back and kind of getting into the right shape for surfing. But yeah, it's definitely an intense sport when you get those big swells. I mean, getting held under, and it's a rocky shore too, so there were a couple close calls where I was like, yeah, I do not want to be here right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, surfing, and then
Sick.
spent a month in Oregon surfing as well.
Sick.
And actually just recently kind of transitioned back into fly fishing and did a trip up to Wyoming with Stefan, and yeah, a little bit of floating, a little bit of wading in a canyon up there, and yeah, it's been an epic summer. I actually had too much fun. I'm feeling guilty now, honestly. Like I
That's how
didn't
I'm feeling too.
do anything important this summer.
You can go straight
Just
into like an
played.
epic build once you start filming again. That'll make you think like, oh, okay, yeah, good thing I played last year.
Back on track.
Yeah.
And what about
good
you,
summer.
Colter? What have you been up to this summer?
Just climbing and working a little bit in Aspen.
Sick.
But yeah, climbing as much as I can. I've been driving my Bronco around a little bit too, doing some
How is
rock
that thing?
crawling.
Yeah.
Dude, you and Tom went and ripped up some ridges the other day, right?
Yeah, we did. I've got my Austrian buddy in town, so I gave him a little tour of the Elks, and he's just blown away because in Europe they have really nice paved roads all up over the mountains, but we're in the Wild West, and it's like a real thing, like we have like these crazy roads way up into these gnarly mountains, and he's like, I've never even seen a road like this and didn't think you could even drive on a road. Like looking at it, he's like, we can't drive up that. And I'm like, here, you want to do it? And I put him behind the wheel, and he was like just laughing the whole time. He's like, this is insane. That's sick. So yeah, that's been fun having seeing the mountains from a vehicle has been fun. And then, rock climbing I love that sport so much. I've been doing it for quite a while now. And I love it because it's like safe. It's like we take a lot of risks skiing, and mountain biking, as we've heard. Well, I guess you were motorcycle riding. I don't know. I feel like mountain biking's super dangerous, man. Everyone's breaking their collarbones, and I love mountain biking as well. But climbing, to me, you can like find the edge. You can fall all day, and the rope catches you. And as long as you got your knot tied right and a good belayer and a couple other things need to be lined up, you're generally fine to keep pushing your grade and getting stronger. And I just love the pace of it as well, and hanging in the mountains, trying hard and chilling all at the same time.
It's nice. It's awesome. Nice. Well, and then now we're in premiere season at this point. Are all you guys, like, TGR has a pretty extensive premiere tour that they do. Are all you guys going to quite a few of the stops, or what's that look like for everyone?
Definitely this week is like the heaviest
Yeah.
crew, I think, that travels around to the events. But
Yeah, what's going on just this first week? Because we just had the world premiere in Jackson.
yeah, and
Tonight
then
is Salt Lake.
tonight's Salt Lake City, and it's typically the biggest show, right?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
a few
Salt Lake's
thousand people
huge.
at
Like
Red
always
Rocks.
sold out. Like,
is it? Yeah,
like
it's Red.
3,000 to 4,000 people, and super sick venue. I mean, Red Butte overlooking the valley down there, and usually this time of year you get that good sunset. But yeah, super good one, and it works out super well because I think they by design, but everybody comes to Jackson from all over the place. A bunch of the Canadians come down, and then they back it up to the Salt Lake show just so everyone can bop down here and hit that. But yeah, there's definitely a ton of shows on the schedule, and it's hard to figure out which ones to hit. And I mean, we went back to back east. They do a little pretty fun little New York leg where it's back to back. I think 4 shows, 4 nights in a row. Boston, New York, Port Chester, is it?
Yeah.
And that was super fun, honestly. One of the most fun.
Yeah.
Little,
They
premiere
do those
trips
later in the
I've
year, though.
done.
People don't get ready for winter until like November down there. They're not like stoking yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's in
Yeah.
November.
Yeah.
That's in November, right?
Yeah, that one's in November.
And the East Coast, I mean, it's so fun going back there because the stoke level of those guys is through the chart, off the
Totally.
charts,
Yeah,
through the
there's
roof.
so much passion back there.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
awesome.
Out here,
so
everyone's
sick, yeah.
jaded, but back there, they're just so passionate.
Don't
and
dream of
stoked.
moving out west.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's cool.
Like half of us already did.
yeah, right. You're from Vermont, right?
Yeah, I
nice.
grew up riding in Stowe, so
Yeah,
same
sick.
deal, right? There's so much passion back there, and it's cool when you can go back from show them a project, and people are like, "Duh!" So hyped. And out here, people are like, "It's the 4th video I've seen this week. I'm fine. I'm pretty much pro myself. Like I could do that.
Check out my project. My project drops next week.
Everyone, yeah.
I would have thought you grew up in Park City, actually. When I was growing up.
I moved
early, right?
Yeah, pretty early. I moved
You
there
and
when I
your
was
brother?
14. Yeah. we
And
were
you
there.
got you and Sage too. I feel like you guys were like a little trio, and I
Yeah.
was running around with Joss, and
Yeah.
we had a good little Grom posse.
It was cool.
coming
Yeah,
up
there was a
around
bunch
here.
of
Yeah.
little dumb park rats that I got to hang out with, myself being one of them.
That's so cool.
And
Guilty.
then, we got premiere season, and then it's kind of going to be wintertime
Yeah.
soon enough. Are you guys sort of mapping out what that'll look like? I mean, Colter, you said it well, right? And Emma, I'm in a similar boat. It's like I haven't bought a ticket anywhere, and I haven't booked an Airbnb anywhere yet because I don't know what the snow is going to be doing. But what's that process like for you guys? Are you just trying to map out maybe who you want to be with and things like that?
Yeah, I'd say so. This year I'm trying to it is funny because I totally have lived by Colter's schedule of not knowing where the heck I'm going to go until it snows, and then that's going to work. But then that can also be insanely stressful, and sometimes still doesn't line up.
Yeah.
And, you'll put in all this work, and then other times there have been TGR shoots that have been planned months in advance, and then it still does come together. And no matter what, if you're there in a specific zone working hard for a good amount of time, you're going to create something cool. So I definitely have that on the back of my mind, maybe to line up a trip or two that are solidified early on, and then try to work with TGR around Jackson as the weather kind of cooperates. But
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I've always got ideas. Last year we were thinking about Europe, but it just didn't happen. And I have a few ideas this year. Things I would like to do, and you just kind of keep your eye on where it's happening and kind of start trying to loosely line things up. Yo, McRae, what are you doing in mid-Feb? What do you think about going here? Let's see if it lines up. You're just kind of trying to massage it the whole year. And meanwhile, it's December and we're skiing pow, and it's cold, and there's no tourists or moguls around yet, and you're just getting stoked. So that's kind of the way.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking forward to. December. It's like my favorite month.
December's a good one.
Get your legs under you.
Totally. Yeah, I know. I feel like for me, and I think it's different for everyone, but yeah, for me, I'm not much of like a preseason frother because I ride so much all winter and sometimes go until
When you ride
almost
until
June.
May, you don't need to
You know
start
what I
in
mean?
October.
Like when everyone else is like transitioning to mountain biking in March or something like that. But I know I love December. I try to have like a strict like I start riding December 1st, and that's like when my season starts, and then it's like climbing until then or doing whatever, and then I'm like in it, like gonna ride for a month.
Climbing in October, surfing November, skiing December.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, I'm right there with you on the whole live and learn. Over the years, I've kind of had to reel it in a little bit and try to wait as long as you can, especially on the snowmobile side of things. Like, first 2 years I had a sled day one, so it might have been the second year of having a sled, but first, like, you're coming back and trying to get out there for the first couple days. A-arm, first day, 2 years in a row.
Classic.
So I'm like, I don't even, I try to wait till honestly like January to even get the sled out. But, and that's another thing too, is like the anticipation starts building. December's there, snow's on the ground. Like you start thinking, oh, we got to, hit the ground running. And yeah, usually it's just like, and everyone's always asking you, what are you up to this winter? And it's like, well, I actually have no idea yet. I'll probably know like a day before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like it's usually, you get through the holidays, then it seems like that first week of January is all of a sudden like, all right, we got to figure this out, especially on like the TGR side of things. You start hearing from JK and like, okay, so I'm still on the radar, still in the mix.
Totally.
Awesome. And then, for anyone tuning in that wants to maybe try to see a premiere in person or just follow the rollout, where can they kind of stay up to date on all things?
Yeah, just type in TGR Snow Film Tour, and it'll give you a list of every single premiere stop that they have this season. And
they do. It's a ton of them.
they go until end of November. I think the film is released online like early November, so it's kind of funny to watch it live after it's already been released online. But
It's such a fun event, though. I feel like
Yeah, what is it? I mean, let's kind of touch on that too, because we are in this like, I'm sort of wrapping things up here, but like you said, it is like a special thing going to a ski or snowboard premiere, and like, why is that, right?
Yeah, because it's a social event. It's fun to sit on at home and watch a ski movie on your couch, but it's more like hearing everyone cheer and drinking a few beers before and a few beers after, and the athletes are there signing posters and they're giving stuff away on stage, and it's just like a fun like social like evening rather than. It's not all about the ski film. It's about the whole
it
vibe.
grows
Yeah.
a stoke for you
Experience,
to head into the
it's
season
cool.
that way.
Yeah,
Gets everyone
exactly.
together,
It's like
sick.
gets everyone together. It's kind of this cool like communal event, right? Where you get to like share what I think is maybe a more unique experience of like, oh my God, like you love snowboarding or skiing too, and like there's 100 or 500 of us here right now, like psyched about this one thing that's so special to us, but like, and it's maybe a little different than a major league sport like the Super Bowl, because everyone there is also like an active participant in the sport in their own way, whether you're like a mom or a dad that skis with your kid, like you can kind of relate in a sense. So they're cool.
The venues are also really cool, like throughout the country, like even like Red Butte tonight's this beautiful outdoor venue, and then like in Aspen, it's the Wheeler Opera House. It's this old classic like theater, and the Bozeman Theater's pretty cool if I remember correctly. And
one's back east. Boston's in the House of Blues.
Yeah.
And then Port Chester's Capitol Theater, iconic venues for sure.
I think the
in
Brooklyn
music
one is
industry.
a bowling alley. I've heard
Yeah,
it's
Brooklyn Bowl.
Really
that
cool.
one's sick because while everyone's watching the movie, we're over there ripping.
Yeah.
But it'd be something to do. And at that point, you've seen it like 6-7 times. We've been going to a few of these, so you kind of you've seen enough at one point. But there's lots of fun venues.
Check it out on the website. It's touring around for the next 6 weeks, and it's pretty almost every night. It's somewhere or 2 or 3 locations a night. So we'll be where we can, and we hope to sign you guys posters if you're listening and you want one.
Yeah.
We'll see you out there.
Yeah.
And
Awesome,
they get
yeah.
there on time.
Yeah, that's sweet. Well, guys, thank you so much. It was like sweet getting to catch up with everyone and kind of get some insight in the TGR world of filming. And with that, thank you to everyone who tuned in. If you been liking the show, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And from the meantime, from the crew at Backcountry, we will see you out there.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.